thing.
It.
It always goes so quick, isn't it? For the ones who are watching us, it's like, whilst I'm connecting to Facebook, it's slow, 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 and then all of a sudden, bang, you're live.
I know. It's incredible. Hello, everybody. We're just busy doing, getting everything sorted. But we thought we'd come on and let you see how we come on normally. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Exactly. That's our motto. Just go ahead and do it. It could be really good. No right and wrong. Yeah. So hello all over to you. To London.
Yeah. Yes, hello to you. And we've got not so great weather, but it's okay. It's okay. It's nice to be here, nice and warm, in the house, safe.
I just come in. I just literally came in 10 minutes ago. I was out in the town to get the bus card for my son.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he cannot go to school. He always takes the bus. So I just came in. It's very cold today. It's actually -2 degrees.
Wow.
But it's sunny, crisp and sunny.
Those are the best days, actually, when you have enough something that kind of activates. That Christmas can really activate, can't it? I quite like crisp days, but when the sun is there, then the light is nice and bright. So it just adds something. Anything can always be held beautifully when you have a nice day where you actually have sunlight and it's not gloomy. Although I was looking at the wind yesterday and I thought, I quite like mist and things, because it's almost like, when you think about all the mystical stuff, it's often you see, a whole lot of the mists and the things that are swirling around. So whenever I see mist, I keep thinking of magic. So they both have the same kind of way for me.
Yes, it's mysterious mist. It already starts with the same name. Sounds similar. Same first letter. Yeah. Mysterious mist. Yeah. So what is on top of you today? How are you doing since yesterday?
Yes, I mean, it was beautiful watching and reading everybody's posts. So that was really nice. And I only really got to later last night to have a look at them. So yeah, I mean, I'm amazed at how many beautiful, powerful things people are writing there, and the shifts they're having. I was more and more of that, I must say. Really, just paying attention and just looking at how creative people have been with their work, so that has been a sort of a nice revelation to see, and how Susan and some of the others were thinking about perfection, and how one of the things that we're doing here is just not being absolutely perfect, just showing it as it is. And I think that's for me, that's a really great thing, and it's a real learning for me to see that because we're doing that allows others to be who they need to be. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing for me. So I've been very grateful to have been part of that, and also having that aspect for myself as well. So both, you benefit as you do, and people receive, and then they benefit and you get the benefit back. So it's this beautiful sharing, almost like I'm thinking of the figure of 8, where it goes in and out, and there's this outward and inward sort of trajectory that always happens. Yeah, that's sort of just jumped up for me right now.
Nice.
And you? What's been coming up for you?
For me, I've watched a second video from the Resonance Foundation with Nassim Haramein, and it was all about thinking differently or seeing the world differently.
Yeah.
And his final words really stuck with me. And he was saying, "May the vacuum be with you." And of course, the vacuum for me is like this weird field, which my book is about. And it's this in-between space. It's like 99% of the dark matter. And I don't know if you know that this year's Nobel Prize goes into research of the black hole, of the dark matter.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
For me, I'm so excited to see the science actually catch on what like shamans or mystics, like I consider myself to be, are now catching on and putting like scientific analysis and proof for what is a lot of times not tangible. You cannot put it into words. And a lot of times when I was younger, I felt like crazy because this is not something I can explain to people why I can tap into the field, or I can communicate with the spirit or with the norns, or like a lot of times you're just looked at as you would be crazy. And like he was saying, it's very young, only about 10 years ago, and still until today he is being attacked from so many sides. Like he is being like, what is he doing, speaking about the unified consciousness, and even taking the word of conscious into the mouth was like really looked down at from the majority of the scientific community. And it's now just slowly adjusting that now the money goes like into the Nobel Prize, into this research field. What are the black holes? What is the dark matter where we all originate from? Because light is a very minimal amount. Most of it, 99%, is dark, but it's a vacuum, but it's so powerful, intense, and in energy that everything gets born out of it. And so those words like "may the vacuum be with you" is like gives me goosebumps, because for me it's just like really biggest blessing, like because it opens up the field of all possibilities. And and this is where the wisdom lies. And yesterday's Beregini was the wisdom keeper, and in this weird vacuum space, I think, like this deep well, like of endless possibilities, it's there.
I mean, it always reminds me of, and I think your son likes Star Wars as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves it.
Yes, so may the force be with you, but the force is the vacuum.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I love the twist so well, because he consciously, of course, put it like, because everybody knows may the power with you, but things are changing. Things are changing greatly. And also in the scientific worlds. That's why I like to observe and look there as well, and how things coming together from all different perspectives. And that's why I like also the integral theory and approach, because nobody can be totally wrong. So everybody has got one perspective from different disciplines. And it's about looking at the unified field. What unites it all is where we all come from the source. It unites us all. So why don't look what unifies us instead of what is dividing us? Like I'm wrong, like I'm the scientist, I've got all the proof, and you're a shaman or a mystic, so you must be wrong or you must be crazy. No, things are shifting, and I really enjoyed this conversation yesterday. That it's more and more aligned, and that's why this foundation, which you built just only a few months ago, it's called Resonance Foundation. We spoke about the heart resonance, and it's all about the resonance. It starts with us inside. We can only be in harmony when we resonate properly with all our different energy levels. And it's the same what we then shine out into the universe. So micro and macro is the same. Like
exactly. I remember when I was doing my psychology degree, I had written there about hoping one day we would get to this unified theory for emotion. I hadn't even started doing my quantum stuff at that point yet, although I was always going to be a quantum person, because I always believed that we needed to find a way to match science with religion, or not technically religion, but spirit in some way. But emotion is so much part of spirit. And if we just swap the one for the other, you probably get as close as you can to what spirit really is. But emotion, at least, is the biological thing that you can observe and see. but in actual fact, it is just driven by spirit. For me, that's what I believe, because emotion is what comes from within. It's even though it shows up in the brain, it's what we feel as an embodied feeling. Yeah, so it's the embodied feeling that then has some form of mechanism which has correlates in the brain. That's all. That's probably more pure and simple of what it is. But then it's really understanding then how the brain and emotions then work together, which is very much about how do you bring that cognitive perspective into the feeling so that you inform both, and that means they're not wrong, because half your brain is got emotional centers and the other half has got cognitive, and they always have to go through the emotion before anything can happen, really. All stuff from the bottom up has to go via the emotional centers. They all go via the thalamus, and all of it has to come down via emotion. So why do we negate this? It's so funny. I don't know whether you've ever noticed, but right now you're probably not thinking of the chair you're sitting on. But the moment you think about it, you are aware all of a sudden that there's something else. And so often what happens is we tend to forget that step. We forget that there is something there, and we kind of go, oh yes, I can feel my feet on the floor, but we don't think actually we've got shoes on maybe, and we're actually feeling the pressure of the shoes onto the floor and the back pressure, but we're getting all this information. But because we're just going directly to the floor, we miss out all those steps.
Yes.
That's a little like what they were missing out in the cognitive stuff, is they were missing out what is actually happening just before we feel what happens. Oh, it's going to go to that center over there. Yeah, it's really interesting. And it was so nice doing that research, of course, because I was doing it mainly to help and see whether we could change pictures and see whether we could stop people eating as much. So that was but it was basically the emotion that was driving it. So yeah.
Which is of course, like in the medicine wheel, I'm working with the medicine wheel, like 98% is in the subconscious.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is this emotional realm. And this is untapped, and that's where it's like lies like in this ice mountain always underneath, and we always feel like we are stuck or like triggered because we have not really looked at the emotions, we have not embraced them, and then we cannot use it as a potential. It's just something which is like hindering us instead of like pulling us forwards to live out our potential. It's very potent, and I think it has got to do with this old divide, like mind before the body, and that's how we treat Mother Earth. And I think Mother Earth is our physical body where we live.
We are Mother Earth,
and there would be no spirit without Mother Earth, which carries it, and the spirit needs us to breathe through our body. So it's always a co-creation. But so far in human society, we have developed, first we have been yin maternal societies, then it turned into yang the last hundred of years, 100 of years. And it was always this divide, whereas true nature is a dance between both yin and yang.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is again a great possibility that what has come before does not work. So let's invent a new story where it can really dance with each other. The quantum can dance with the weird, the masculine and the feminine. They're different, but at the same time, they can really co-create beautifully with each other. And
they're just different charges. That's all they are.
Yes, it's like the negative and the positive in the atom. You need both, otherwise you would not have an atom. And everything in the physical matter is built on that. Everything.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. All of a sudden, I was busy looking at an atom right now, and I was going, okay, so that's interesting. So the electrons are the ones that travel away. And I was thinking, oh, they're the negatively charged ones, but they're the ones that are single, because in a proton, protons are positive charged, but in this S's, when you look at the duality, it's a positive of 1 and 2. So that is kind of like the feminine energy that is solid and is able to hold all of the, even those things go wandering away. There's the central core that I'm thinking of that state of being able to be in that oneness, in that state of neutrality as well, because the neutrons are in there as well. I have to have a think on that, because now that's starting to call me a little bit. Yeah.
Well, right. Maybe that's the leader. The leader energy which is now leading, like, oh, that's our attention. So should we invite the leader in?
Yes, let's invite the leader in. I'm going to have a little
That's from, we are already at the second circle today. And the way it's built, like from where I learned, like from the 7 Women Wings, or in this free ebook, that's the structure. It's like 9 circles. And we always start with the Prav, so with the divine, the upper world. So this is like from the second circle, the Prav, the upper world. This is the symbol of the leader. And I like it, like there is the foundation of the square. But there are like antennas.
Exactly. Really, I was thinking that. Yes.
Like already opening up, like to receive. Whereas the first circle, the first 3 days were more like really building foundation.
Yeah.
And now it's like the seed planted is starting to opening up. Also in the middle, I interpret it like that. It's now starting to open up.
Yeah. Open to receive.
Yeah.
And open to give, both ways. Yeah. So you're going to say the prayer?
First, I want to say, like, the second circle, Prav, she stands for success. And the affirmation is, I believe in a successful outcome of my situation. You can use the symbol to begin something new or to realize a wish or dream. So, beautiful Beregini of success, leader of success. To welcome you in and connect with the world prayer. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings remain free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings remain connected to sacred joy and happiness that is totally free from sorrow. May all beings come to rest in feeling of security and peace. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled. And so be it. I like the light of
beautiful.
It's also rainbow, the same like the colors of the candle.
I can see, yes. Yes, I can see the green in it. I can see the yellow in it. I can see the pink in it. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Really like reflecting this. Right. Yes, yes. It's stunning.
And I like really like one light can, like from one light you can really switch on unlimited lights.
Yes.
And that's how I like to feel into it when we embroider and when we invite the Beregini. By us just doing it consciously, we can really light this energy and pass it on limitlessly.
What happened there?
That was very powerful, obviously. My lamp this time fell down.
I think the lamp is feeling left out.
Oh yeah,
The light
poor
is
lamp.
overshadowing it.
Yeah, but I will use you in an hour at the latest when it's going to be dark.
Yeah, let's see whether I can put this other light. I don't know if I've got my lights on. It's not on. Yeah.
Do you have a card for us? A tarot card?
Yes, I can. I have. Let me just take it out again. I haven't pulled it yet, but I shall. I'll give it a little bit of a. So let's just think. What is the leader? What do we need for leading? Something that's for us. What do we need for today? That one fell. So that's the one we need. So I've got two. There's two that fell. Right. So the one that fell was the 7 of Wands and the 6 of Wands. Interesting. So
we have the 6 again.
So, but yeah, but these are leadership cards, aren't they? Ones are about going out and leading in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you agree?
Yes.
So there's the 7, which I saw first. Yeah, can you see? Is that clear?
But it looks very similar to yesterday, only that it has got 7 instead of 6.
Yeah, the background is not green. The background's red. Of that. The chariot is different because the birds are leading the chariot. These are more women here than men, actually.
Venus of living fire. Well, Venus is obviously a feminine goddess as well, isn't
exactly.
she? Of love and wealth and abundance.
Exactly. So that's interesting. So it's not normally Wands isn't the cards that you would associate with women, and yet it's Venus of fire.
Of living fire.
Living fire, yes. And let's have this is so the 6 of Wands also came up, and again it's got the, in this case she's got the stag again.
The two white deers and monkeys.
Yeah, so they seem to be the same as what's on the bottom, but what's different are what's the people are doing. So are they looking up? I can't see properly. Are they looking up?
They do look like they're looking up.
Because yesterday the 6 was them looking up as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel that it's actually on the outskirts, it's all exactly the same. It's only the color is different inside. And even the chariot on the top with the 2 horses is the same.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'll have a look, but I hadn't noticed that before. But I will have a look to see if they are the same.
And even the way that the people seem to stand and stuff, from the first impression, it's exactly the same like yesterday.
Well, I'll have a look. It's interesting that they both have come up, though. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The 7 is pretty much the same. Except that they are, yeah, they're the same. Hadn't noticed that. But what we do know is that this is of living fire, and fire is definitely something that's part and parcel of moving forward. Yeah, and there's fire there today. So,
like, I mean, I've put on the candle every day, but today we kind of already, before we started, looked at it even more.
So one's about outgoing, it's about starting, it's about initiation. You know, ones are about talking, speaking, doing all kinds of action stuff, from my understanding. And so the 6 would still have its sense, because in the 6 of Wands is definitely about coming with success. Yeah, so 6 is about the success, and the 7 is about healthy competition.
Mm-hmm. And is this in between 6 and 7?
Again.
Again.
Again, it is about looking at that. And I suppose if you're being a leader and if you're in space, there is always about that knowing and wanting to shift into the next space to kind of work with that. Yeah. It's interesting, both fell.
And it opens up the vacuum. The vacuum,
Yes,
which we can fill with our own experiences, intentions, which are coming up as we embroider.
Yeah.
And connect. So let's see what the mystical shaman card has got in store for us today for the leader. Oh, interesting. The Rainmaker.
Oh, that is interesting.
Looks like a dancer with wings who holds the moon in the hands. Okay, so obviously someone who is so powerful that she can bring rain. And
yes.
it's a number 42, which added is number 6. So there we have got the number 6 yet again.
Yeah. The 6 is very important, and part of the 6 is definitely I was just looking here, 6 here and with the ones is about Ra, the sun god. So about, and the sun is very much our central pillar of Tipperith, which is our ability to be in that godlike that space, that eternal child space of giving and loving, and also being the creator. And she's a 6, so yeah. And yes, we talk about 6 being a 3 and a 3,
which is my life's number, 33, which adds up to 6.
Exactly. So
Crazy.
yeah, these are all just balancing. The 6 is really important, and it's just what do we need to create with the 6?
Well, and I like that the sun and the rain and water, they make up the rainbow.
They do. There we are. We got a candle rainbow. Yes.
And it's like bridging this in between, which we keep coming back all the time.
Yeah.
They are bridging that. Yeah. So it's being able to use the natural elements, the sun and the water, in the most constructive way.
Yes.
Like to shine in full bright colors. And that is being a true leader, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's coming for me is that the sun and the water create mist. They create the weird. They create the clouds. They create something that's intangible and yet can have so much power in shifting, like the wind, creating things like that. So yeah, that the distribution of the different pressures allow the wind to happen. So yeah, so we've got the two things that are the most important thing for life to begin existing, and then other things form. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, certainly very important qualities to be the leaders for our new age of Aquarius arising. And today is a very powerful day, of course, full moon and lunar eclipse. And will be followed on this important day on the 21st, on the equinox. We're going to have the solar eclipse then. I think those are very important times which prepare us to really come into our own sovereign leadership, first of all, to then start to rewrite a new story, to create a new, which is in balance with the yin and yang, and more focused on the unity of love and no longer this division of me against you. And yeah, I think this is
and it's a real mindset to have to move into that space, because it is like being in the void, because you don't know. I mean, I was I was talking to my partner and I said, you know, to actually take those kinds of risks, you've got to jump into the void, and you don't know what's going to happen. You just don't know. But the only way you can do that is to be vulnerable, to be vulnerable in the space and let it happen and surrender. And isn't that a lot of what does have to happen? We have to surrender our egos in order to find what we need to find, so that we can move forward. Yeah, which happens in the vacuum.
Yeah, it all comes from the vacuum, like the room, and it all goes into the vacuum. And that's the in-between space between the in and out breath. Yeah. It's always available if we consciously put our awareness on the breath. So with these words, I'm gonna embroider again on the yellow. Yellow for me is like the Venus of the living sun, which is drawn at the beginning. For me, from what we talked about, which has come up so far as well, it's like such a life-bringing energy. So I like to use that today as a foundation.
You're going to draw the rune?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me. It's not complete without a rune. It's true. The leader. Oh, that's the Aichwas rune, which stands for Kundalini energy, also for the world tree, which combines like below and above. And no matter how you turn it, it's a very, very powerful rune. And speaking of like the dance between yin and yang, this rune, like the world tree, it combines everything below and above, and the masculine and the feminine. It's like it turns it into the right directions and into the flow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Like an arrow. It's a very mysterious rune as well.
And I think I can get you to see that one. That's the genius. So basically what it is more, so we've got more purple and pink, which is really very pretty. You'll see it when it's in the photograph. It's much better. Let's try and close that. But yeah, you know what I should do? I should cover my thing and you'd see it nice and clearly. So, and it's got green around here, beautiful green, and then gold around here. So all the colors that are to do with the heart chakra. So yeah, very nice. So we definitely are onto our heart journey, it looks like. Resonance with the heart.
Yeah, when we started speaking about the resonance foundation, and here we've got the resonance of the heart as well.
Yeah.
It's all about the resonance. Does it measure only the heart? Like the heart?
Well, that's an aura of what's kind of like the overall things. But what you can do, I mean, in this one, it looks at all the biofield. So it looks at all sorts of things. In this particular one, it'll do something for the body, the biofield, and the neurology. So it does 3 sections, and it splits them up. So you can have a look in between where you might need and where you might want to add. So for the biofield, it's got the nausea frequencies, and it does chakras, sacred
What
geometry.
is the nausea frequency? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up for its name properly, that I give you the right information. I don't know it well enough. But I know that, you know, like you have, and maybe somebody that is here on the group will be able to tell us. But it is a frequency resonance, which is, from my understanding, there are 7 of them, and these are particular ones that, like, if I go into the nausea, they will have particular attributes that that are helpful for you. So I don't know them all, but it was Paul Roger that designed it, but I cannot remember offhand. But I can look it up. And
yes, please.
I can give you the answer if I go into my thing in a minute. Right.
Well, you can do it later on. I mean,
we can do it later. I'll talk about that. But what, you know, there are particular resonances which we all we resonate at, and certain ones, you know, when we think about the frequency of the 528 or the 900, those are solfeggio frequencies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the nosio frequencies are just slightly different, a different platform with which they work. Yeah. And so they do solfeggio frequencies, and you can look to go all the way up to the perfect note or the completion of the circle, which is where appreciation works. So appreciation sits just above gratitude, because when you truly appreciate, you truly are with other. And so that's considered like the perfect circle. So, and you can balance them as you go along. So I will do a balance. So as it balances, it does something like this, and it starts going through different parts of the body. So you can see it's got the Leonardo.
Yeah, the Leonardo.
Yeah, the Leonardo man, and then it'll go through the different frequencies which it's balancing. So it'll do that for a while. Okay. Right, let me have a look at this and get my...
So this is the symbol. You want to look at it again?
Thank you. Yes, let's do it right.
The square is smaller to give more space for these antennas to stretch, to go outside.
Thank you for reminding me. Very nice.
I think this is such a joyful symbol.
Yeah, it looks like it's dancing to me.
Yeah, it looks like a flower, like a dancing flower.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me of a Sufi dancer just now.
Yeah.
Who's just turning.
Yes.
And...
Yes. It does. Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely a very confident leader kind of energy, just stretch yourself out and bloom and show your colors and feel so connected with this card of the Venus of the living sun. So nice that she came to us now for the leadership.
Yes, because it's really talking about leadership having a heart conscious leadership, isn't it?
Venus on the medicine wheel, on the Nordic medicine wheel, is associated with the fertile gods. Speaking of leadership, like of fully confident, fertile energy, which is usually comes after the fire underneath.
Oh, yes.
Because we all go in our human development through the fire, like this, the death of what no longer serves us, is the guardian, is the goddess hell. And then after that comes the unconscious, which we also touched upon, where 98% lies actually in our potential. And only if we embraced all our shadows, looked at our emotions, where the dwarfs are the guardians in the Nordic mythology. And then we go to this dark night of the souls. Some people do it quite a lot of times in their lives. It doesn't mean you've been through it once and will never come again. And after that, when we have gone through this, then we rise like phoenixes, or like this really wise and fertile gods, where Venus, for example, accounts to, or like Freya, Frigg, all those gods, goddesses who have been through all these human challenges, embrace them and continue to rise through this embodied wisdom. And that's where Venus is located, in the west of wisdom, embodied wisdom. I think that's a good leader, to look to.
Yeah, Venus is Venus rules the planet, or let's say in astrology, for normal Western astrology, Venus rules the month of April, which is my birth month.
Oh, mine too. I'm born on the 4th of the 4th.
Yes, well, there we are.
Even though I'm in Aries, it's usually Mars energy.
Yeah, you're right on the cusp almost, aren't you?
Just had to look if somebody has commented in the live.
Have they? Oh, nice.
No, because I've heard like this ping in the background, but it's not in our live video. What were you saying just now?
I can't remember. I think I got distracted and it moved the topic on. All right, don't worry about that.
It was like about the birthing month, but you said like Venus is associated with April.
Yeah.
And then I said like, oh, I thought that
you're also born, but you're born on the cusp. So that means you've got more, you could either have more of one or the other. So more of Aries or more of Taurus. So which is what the cusp normally would show.
What do you mean with the cusp? What is that?
So what do you, so you may have more of one trait than the other. So you may be more Aries or you may be more Taurus in nature.
Well, I think I'm definitely Aries.
You definitely have a lot of
and
Aries.
I'm even double Aries, aren't I? Because my ascendant is also in Aries.
Yeah.
So I certainly.
My ascendant is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I certainly have got this Aries energy. The Taurus is more like the Venus, I think, because they love to to indulge in things and like in beauty and in wealth.
Yeah. Yes, the Taurus is about that, really.
And family, and it's important to have a home and things like that. That's why I know about Taurus.
Well, solidity. Yeah. It's not quite solidity, but it's about a base, really, isn't it? It's about having a base so that things are taken care of, so that, and having a base of beautiful things, so that you know, it's kind of like wherever you are, you're going to make it beautiful.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm definitely Aries. I have always been the type more on the move and exploring things, adventurous, especially before the birth of my son. As you know, I mean, I moved like 33 times in London alone in 6 years. I mean, this was my hobby.
Oh my God.
And you know, I just love the British culture in that way.
I don't think I'd be able to handle that very well.
And I used to love it. That's how I got to know so many different cultures, because, and it's so easy in Great Britain. The flats are furnished. So all I had to do is pack my bag, I move in another flat where again I always used to live with people from around the world, like shared housing.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to know, like especially in London, which is the most multicultural city in the world. I got to know so many fantastic people, and I used to love that. And I mean, that's how I went to travel 2 months with the Trans-Siberian Railway. Just one bag,
Right. Yeah.
and that's it. And ideally, if I wouldn't be now a mother, which brought me total new experiences, that's my type. I can totally relate to that. Like always on the go, on the move, always open for new experiences. But bless that I'm a mother as well. It took me quite a few years to also appreciate this, like being just here, building roots, give stability and a structure for my son, especially when he was younger. Yeah, it didn't come easy to me, but I do appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, it was having to learn, I guess, and that's part of business, part of everything is creating that structure, creating that base, creating that foundation, because fire just likes to go. If you look at the nature of fire, is just to go, yeah, and it kind of takes no prisoners too. So it's about how do you leave something in the earth so that there's no destruction. So double fire really does need grounding, I would say.
Absolutely, yes, all right. And as it happens, my son is a fire sign, my ex-husband is a fire sign. They're both lions. So good God, so much fire. I mean, it really takes now with like growing older to have made all these experiences to learn how to deal with so much fire. I mean, that's why we are things separated. When we were younger, we were not able to deal with so much fire. It could bring life, but it can also burn you if you not learn to accommodate how to also use the other elements. I was not in harmony when I was younger. And there are also elements like putting the water over fire or bringing the air to ground things or the wind. So sometimes when it's too much fire, let the wind in to spread it, and not keep it all within yourself.
Yeah.
And it all comes to this like embodied wisdom. We have to make certain experience. I was too young back then. I was not able to see it that way.
I can imagine it was very tough. I could imagine.
And I'm surprised still that I never had a burnout, because there was still something, my inner wisdom, which always said to me no. Like with my PhD, which I started to do, like in politics, I'm so glad that I still listen to my inner wisdom and saying like, no, halfway through I said, in this man's domain where I just have to work, I better step out of that.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have, I think, burnt out. Or like in my professional sports career, there was always this inner voice which meant it well with me and said, no, until here, not further. Otherwise, you're going to burn out.
And that's something to be so grateful for. That there has always been that guidance that's been there.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think since we feel the Venus energy, it's the Venus. It's also this goddess of beauty. Take it slowly, indulge in pleasure and stuff. She brought me then into this feminine path for many years where I really learned that. I had to learn it because I didn't know this kind of world. You can make things beautiful like we're doing now with our hands. You can create things, create beauty in your home. You cook something nice, and there are so many different ways of like indulging in things, and I'm very grateful for that. only like 6 years ago, I would say. I didn't know that at all. I didn't know how to cook.
You've done amazingly well. You've managed to do that.
Yeah, I learned to cook. My ex-husband, Moroccan, he's actually a fantastic cook. He was actually a cook for many years. So I learned cooking through him. I also learned belly dancing through him. Because I surprised him. I secretly learned in London. I used to live in London, where you are now, when we met. And I secretly took belly dance classes for over a year to then surprise everyone in Morocco, because we got married in Morocco. And everybody knew me as this sporty girl, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I surprised everyone with this choreography, belly dance choreography. And I mean, I was so scared, because every girl can dance belly dance, you know, they grew up with that. And there was I like doing my own choreography, and everybody was like, oh my God, yeah. And that was for me a big growth step, like into my own femininity, and to be like the seductress, because the belly dance is all about seducing and
having power. Yeah,
it was a very important step for me. This is the Venus. That's the Venus talking. Also, when I got pregnant for the first time, I just only stayed at home. I taught myself how to sew. I started to just paint, like this painting, actually, this big one, originated during my pregnancy. I was like every day non-stoppable sewing, cooking, living out this my whole creative side, which I never had time for.
Knew about.
Yeah, so I'm so grateful for that part. I think would have never happened without marrying a Moroccan guy, being pregnant, and it brought me so many new experiences, which is so Venus, like really Venus energy. So thank you, Venus.
Yes. She was calling. And you listened.
Yeah, and so many times we don't listen. We don't listen. For me, the message comes today is like, what would Venus do? So remember, like, gosh, what would Venus do as a leader?
She'd take her time. For me, Venus would say, take your time. Be slow. Don't be in a rush. Enjoy the moment. Take a look. When something comes up, have a look. Do you like it? Do you want it? Change it if you don't. It's kind of coming for me.
And it's about knowing as well what you desire. Kind of similar message that Catherine the Great gave me when we did our Matryoshka masterclass.
Yeah.
Like, take what you desire. Yeah. And I think it's so important for us to know what we really want and to follow that. We suppress a lot of times what we really want, or don't even really know, because we are never being taught to really go for our desires or wishes. It's being always said like, that's crazy, or when you grow older, you will realize you cannot become an astronaut or something like that, you know.
But until then, you may as well dream and go for it. You might get somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Follow our desires.
And be true. I think what's coming for me is be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be true to yourself always.
Be true to yourself always.
Because I think if you're a leader, you have to, once you make a decision, be true to the decision that you make. And, you know, obviously, and there's two things: be true, but maybe to be truth to the truth. So let the truth be the servant. So kind of like, okay, so maybe if there's something that needs changing and that, you know, needs evaluating, then that becomes the new truth. It's not about being a hold to your own truth, but to be true to the truth rather, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Maybe you can elaborate on that.
So for me, it's kind of like you don't hold so strongly to something if it's actually wrong. Be open to change if a new truth comes up. Like, for example, when we thought about the world being flat and the new truth was actually it's round. Well, not quite round, but it is kind of round. So, you know, but it's not flat. We won't fall off it. So
it's definitely not flat.
And the new truth is that right now, that actually, you know, that the quantum and the weird are pretty much the same thing, and that actually they're not, neither of them are wrong. They are just part explaining a bit of the whole.
Yes.
You know, they're not explaining the whole, but they are explaining a bit. And what happened is in science, we got too focused on going into one aspect, but we didn't pay attention enough to the other because we wanted to prove what was causing that. But actually, there often is so many different causes that cause one thing. So it's about that holistically. What's the bit that's missing? So yes. I guess it's being aware of being to open to new truths. Yeah, know what you know, but if you are truthful to seeking the truth, I suppose that's the word. Be truthful to the seeking for truth. Yeah.
Truthful to seeking for truth.
Yeah.
Nice. Now I've got this image I've shown you before from the next year's Moon. I'm already planning to do it as my next title page on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like, have I got it here somewhere? I sent it to you before. It's like a painting from the Moon, which is a goddess of unity. She's got also like wings and all different colors. And the snake which goes up, I've got it here. Yeah. And I'm already playing around with it to have it as my title page for the next year.
Wow.
I resonate so much with her, and that is from the next year's Moon, which has got the theme the world.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it is.
And also this beautiful image of weaving the new earth. And we have done a meditation. Some of you know here in this group as well. Screamed live the meditation of weaving the new earth. So this is so beautiful how aligned this all is. And this image I carry already forward for the new year. Here it is.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, wow. Now that is gorgeous.
And she is called the goddess of unity. There is the earth and the snake, which we had, of course, like 2 days ago. Here, the snake going up to the different kind energy centers. Here, the sacral area, the heart. And here, the third eye. All open. And yeah, that's what comes to me right now. This is the new leader. She is someone who like gives space for all different experiences, colors, and is open to them. And through being open and in resonance with all these colors and energies, that's how she can shine through all those colors into the world. And then from the micro, in the macro, in the world, she's also like a rainbow and shining all those different colors. And I think when you do this, like the counting, the resonance aura counting, this is exactly what this measures.
Yes, yeah, it does measure the auras, yeah.
So if we're in resonance with all different auras, chakras, and energies, this is how we are those rainbow beings. Yeah, so I think this is a very potent leader type for the future. And I love how in the text it says, weird is the new in.
Nice.
A new generation of great thinkers is bringing us innovative theoretical understandings of social conditions. We must listen and be ready to reform the broken world we have inherited. Are you one of those voices? Don't stifle your budding vision for the future. This is the year to let the freak flags fly and shed constricting worldviews that tell us we should just give up. Together, we can re-enchant the world.
Oh, that is beautiful. Right, I think we're about finished, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
I think things are.
Yes, we have.
We're a little bit over.
A little bit over. So I finished the leader.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So have you got any final words before we finish?
I think the thing what my words are, just stay truthful to seeking the truth always. That's kind of come up for me. I'm just going to do another balance of the aura to see what happens. Yeah, be a seeker of the truth and stay true to that, and don't let things that use your inner guidance to help you with that. So set what your heart sets for is the truth. Interesting, we've just got a totally blue coming in. It's completely blue almost.
Wow.
Yeah, if I can go here, you can see it. There you are. Look, you can see it. Completely blue with white light coming in from the side. And on here, it's coming in from the left. So, yeah, that's quite amazing. Wow.
What does it tell us?
Well, blue is the color of, I mean, obviously the blue is the color of the throat chakra, which we know. And but it's also the color of, in Kabbalah, it's also the color, one part of the heart. It's the color of, actually in the Kabbalah, it's the color of love, pure love. All right. Love that's almost higher than earthly love. It's a different type of love. And so you get the blue, but I think the blue is also our immune system. I think of the blue as the immune system, which is the connector of all things in our body. Our immune system connects everything. And so if you think it keeps us sovereign, and in the sense that it knows where what's going on. Yeah, it knows whether something's going to hurt us but it's also very inclusive. So it'll do a few things. And part of love is really the emotion of inclusion. So part of the way that the immune system does, it's got cells in it that also are very inclusive. It envelops. And if it didn't, they're called pseudopodia. So they go around things and they check out, are you safe for me or are you not? And if you're safe, well, I'll just keep and hold you for a little bit and then let you out. and that's kind of like how it works. So yeah, I think that's a really, since we're talking about truth would be part of the throat chakra. So that's kind of really important. Yeah, that's interesting. And as a leader, you've got to you've got to speak the truth.
Yeah.
Brave enough to have the truth. Yeah.
And shine all your true colors.
Exactly. Show your true colors.
Okay, so on that note, we want to see all your true colors as well. Keep on sharing your beautiful works and what has come up for you. Yeah, we definitely love to read it, and because what has come up for you, it's the medicine for all of us. So
yes. So are there any last words for you that you kind of, before we go, anything that came up for you?
Well, that's what I just read out.
Oh, right. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Let's re-enchant the world by shining all our true colors. And weird is the new in. What is the new normal? And I just love it because my book is called The Weirding Way.
What about may the weird go with you?
May the weird go. Yeah. Oh, yes. May the weird go with you, or brave to be weird, which I like to always say. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So brave to be weird. Have a lovely rest day of very potent lunar eclipse and full moon, and we see each other tomorrow.
Yes. Take care.
You too. Bye bye. Black
Bye-bye.
you. Many blessings.
Black